Hello and welcome to Rage Dark Strategy. I am Bioball Joe, and I've got a good replay for you sent in by my good friend Padzilla, who was recently in his #1 in his Bronze League, but now he has been promoted to #1 in Silver. Good job, Padzilla. Anyways, let's see how these two match up. In the bottom left corner, we have Pishon. And in the top right corner, we do have Padzilla. I'm just going to fast forward it just a little bit here, mainly because it is quite a bit slow beginning, and it is pretty boring at the beginning here because it is a bronze game, nothing special happening here. Alright, I'm gonna stop right about here when these two do decide to get their spawning pool here. And let's see what happens here. And Padzilla does throw down his first expansion, so does Pishon. Let's see if Pishon here does see that expansion that Padzilla does throw down here. It's definitely going to put them at the same economical differences here, but I believe Padzilla does have the economic advantage here. He does have more drones, but Pishon here is going to decide to go for some gas here. Wow, Padzilla does throw down a gas here as well, but Padzilla does scout this expansion here, while Pishon does not seem to be able to scout Padzilla's first expansion. And Padzilla is getting out about 4 Zerglings for early pressure defense here, and he is going to get up that first expansion. Well, Pishon does get down that first expansion here, and he is deciding to create a drone and another queen for that expansion. Then Padzilla is barely starting to research that metabolic boost, while Pishon does have the slight advantage. He has started researching earlier and dropping a baneling nest in. Pishon is deciding to drop a baneling nest here. Let's see if he does get some banelings during this game. Ooh, Padzilla's scout has been seen and is getting shut down by the queen here. Pishon sending some sending out some zerglings for that Xel'Naga, for that vision in the middle of the map, which will help him see incoming attacks. While Pishon does have that nice Xel'Naga tower, Padzilla does have pretty well placed overlords here. Pishon is going to grab that other Xel'Naga tower. Oh, and for Pishon, metabolic boost is done, and he's going to get Hive Tech, while Padzilla is popping about 16 Zerglings, which his metabolic's just finished, and he's throwing down some spine crawlers at that expansion to give it a little bit of a boost of defense here, while Pishon just decides to drone up here and get his econ running nice and good. But Pishon does not seem to have noticed that first expansion yet. And Padzilla is barely starting to get that Hive Tech, but he is sending out those 16 Zerglings for some scouting here. Let's see what he finds. He does not find anything here, and he does decide to go for that first expansion that Pishon did throw down, which has no defense, and Padzilla is going to eat up this expansion here. He does not get any workers, but he does get that queen, which is pretty detrimental. That queen was 150 minerals here, and he's getting that other queen, but he decides to go back down for that hatchery. And he is just, Pichon here is just letting him eat it up here. He's not even defending against it. Now Pichon pops some Zerglings, but he leaves him at his ramp. And Padzilla does decide to pull back. And Pichon decides to separate his Zerglings here for some defense here at that first expansion, just to make sure Padzilla does not come back knocking on his door for another little while. Padzilla is deciding to drop his second expansion right now, which is a good time. Although he is floating 500, he could drop another expansion. And Padzilla is getting that glial reconstitution for those roaches, just to make them a teensy weensy bit faster here. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't make them a teensy weensy bit. It does make them have a very, very, very increased rate of speed while walking across the map, which will be an advantage here. And here comes Pichon with those Zerglings. Looks like he's going to scout with those Zerglings. Yeah, he is going to scout with those Zerglings. See what he comes up with. Nope. Oh, he's morphing them into banelings here. He's getting banelings. And again with that Overlord. That Overlord is getting attacked by that Queen. That will, if Padzilla does lose that Overlord, that is 100 down the drain right there. And there he goes. He loses it. Red, with a pretty sizable little army here, does decide to get baneling speed, and he has higher list, and he has redropped his first expansion here, and those Zerglings at Padzilla's front wall are getting wrecked, and those roaches just got hit hard. He only lost 2 of them, but for some odd reason, Pichon just decides to let his Zerglings sit there just a little bit, killing off a couple of them, which is good for Padzilla here. And he held that off, not too bad. But Pichon was able to do just a little bit of damage there, and Padzilla does have his second expansion up, not quite running. And he's going to create some extra roaches here for some defense. And Pichon here is starting to create some more banelings for another baneling bust at Padzilla's base. And he goes in with that one Zergling for a scout, and it does get denied. He does not see what Padzilla is doing. He does not see that Mutalisk Spire that Padzilla does have. And here comes Pichon with the scout with those Zerglings here, and those banelings rolling in as well. I believe he is looking for that third expansion, but does not find it. But he probably does suspect Padzilla does have a second expansion here, and Padzilla gets some Mutalisks. And he goes in for that second expansion here, getting a nice round on that. Oh, and he does do some damage to those spine crawlers and those workers. Padzilla lost quite a bit of there. He is doing damage, but Padzilla comes in and saves the day with his roaches, destroying those Zerglings quite easily, and holds it off. Not too nice, but here comes Padzilla with these Mutalisks here, trying to harass Pichon here with those Mutalisks. Here comes Pichon again, searching for that third expansion, and decides to go for that second expansion again. Will Padzilla be able to hold this off? No, he will not. And he's in fact running his workers straight into those Zerglings, which is going to cost him a little bit of money here. Now he comes in to defend that second expansion here. And here comes Pichon with the sandwich with those Zerglings. But Padzilla does hold this off here. He did lose quite a bit of workers there, but he held it off, and Pishon was not able to completely get rid of that expansion. And I do believe that Padzilla did lose those mutalists. Yes, he did. He spawned 8 there, but I did miss that. He did lose those mutalists to those hydras there. Those hydras mopped it up pretty well. As you can see, I believe a couple of them died, and that one has some low HP. Yeah. And Pishon does finally decide to drop that second expansion there, which is a good idea. He is down on economy very, very far. Ooh, here comes Pishon with that sizable group, or sizable army of those Zerglings here. Let's see what he finds. Again, he does not find a third expansion. So he sits here and waits and he goes for Padzilla's second expansion, which he knows is still there. He knew he did not kill it from last time. Let's see how much damage he can do here. And Padzilla is losing more workers at this time, but surprisingly still up in econ because he has had this second expansion here. And Padzilla comes in here with this freaking counterattack here. Let's see where he's going with this. See how much damage he can do to that first expansion here that Pishon has. Nope. Padzilla does decide to go for that second expansion that just popped right now, as Pishon did clean up that first or second expansion here. He is going for that first expansion as getting destroyed here, and he is doing just a tad bit of damage here, but stops the Zerglings for some reason. I do not know why, and he is allowing Padzilla to take the offensive here, as Padzilla is in his main, destroying some of his buildings and killing some of his drones. But Padzilla is able to sweep this up pretty nicely here, as Pishon does forget 2 micro Zerglings in Padzilla's base, and here Padzilla does come with a counterattack on the way with Zerglings and roaches, which is going to do some pretty heavy damage to his army here. Ooh, he's getting shot from the high ground with those hydras, doing some major damage with those hydras. And here comes Padzilla with those roaches. He does kill that queen, and he is killing that expansion pretty well. It seems like Pishon is just letting him have the kill here, but Padzilla is having his back turned to those hydras, which is allowing those hydras just to do some major damage to those roaches. And he decides to pull those roaches on those hydras, but pulls them back and loses a couple more roaches because of his poor decisions there. And Padzilla is going to lose this force here, but he does do some considerable damage to that expansion there that Pishon had, forcing him to create some more units that he did not want to create. And here comes Pishon with another counterattack here with some Zerglings. Let's see what he can do here. And a couple of hydras here. He is moving in. He does scout for that second expansion. He sees that it is not up anymore. And here comes Padzilla for those roaches. He is moving those roaches towards Pishon's base, as Pishon is mobilizing his army right outside of Padzilla's expansion. But Padzilla does seem to be going for the all-in right here with those roaches, and yeah, just those roaches. Here comes Pishon for that first expansion here, and he is letting his Zerglings get destroyed by those spawning crawlers. Let's see what he can do here to that expansion. Padzilla has come in and rolled over his first expansion, causing him to lose money, and he has no money. He is barely mining anything off of that one worker there. And here he comes attacking. Oh, Pishon, GG's, and it is game over. This has been a Rage StarCraft 2 replay. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe and thumbs up this video, guys. Have a nice day.